the past 2 weeks I've been on a top secret mission testing out the DJI Avata 360. In today's video I'll be diving into all it has to offer while comparing it to the Antigravity A1 throughout. Along the way we of course have accidental crashes along with flying in rain, wind and snow. Later on I'll reveal if it will replace my Avata 2 along with giving you some tips and tricks that are specific to shooting with this drone. So we have a maximum resolution of 8K 60 frames per second when in 360 mode. This means we can slow down our shots after reframing. This is something you cannot do with the Antigravity A1. Both of the shooting modes allow you to use D-Log-M, which helps us when it comes to colour grading the videos, which is again something that was greatly missed on the Antigravity A1. Having said this, there is one feature that separates the two of these drones that can help sway your decision greatly. Later on we're going to dive into that. When filming we were hit with an unexpected storm, so I had to find gaps in the weather, making it very difficult to say at the least. One afternoon I shot with the talented biker Francisco and the shots were insane. However, while filming I actually turned off the sensors to get closer to the action, and then this happened. We didn't need to replace any of the lenses, and durability wise this was fantastic. Okay, so we've woken up and I've actually got a stunning sunrise here in my hometown. The issue is it is windy, so what we're going to use this for is a high wind test. The wind did seem to affect the drone slightly, but fortunately most of the shots were usable. However, at times there was some stitching issues, possibly due to the wind moving the position of the camera, which I guess is expected. Across the 3 days of shooting, I'd get around 16 minutes per battery, and while that is good for a single shoot, I did find myself using the full power each day. You'll almost certainly need more than one battery. Overall, I was quite impressed with the 360 shots, but if I'm being honest, the process of editing these does take a lot longer than standard footage, which is the same for any 360 camera as you have more options to choose from. The single lens was used a lot throughout our shoot as I personally love this style of shooting. When in single lens mode, we are maxed out at 4K 60 FPS and the main colour space is D-Log-M. I find it fascinating how a drone or camera can perform in difficult lighting conditions, and on screen were the settings I used for my low light shots. I found it can handle dark environments fairly well, and it felt similar to the Avata 2 performance wise. On screen are a few examples, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about how it looks. Nice. Comparing this drone to the Avata 2 and the Antigravity A1, this is the heaviest of the three. A big thing that I love about the Antigravity A1 is that it's below 250 grams, and this is definitely something worth considering based on where you fly. But it is also very expensive, coming in at the highest price point of these three drones. If I were to choose between the A1 and the Avata 360, it would definitely be the Avata 360 for me. This largely comes down to the superior image quality and multiple ways to operate the drone, along with having two lens options. This wouldn't be an honest review if I didn't dive into the things I don't like, so I'm now going to share a few things that I wish were different about this drone. First of all is the size, so it's a lot bigger than the Avata 2, which made it more difficult for me to actually travel with. The size isn't impossible to pack in my bag, and I actually found a system to make it work. However, it's just something that I needed to consider more before I went away. ND filters are key to creating shots that have a realistic sense of speed and motion, so not having them available for this drone is a huge miss, and I hope that changes at a later date. Now, like most people, I was hoping that we could fly this in full manual mode, but as of the date of recording, we can only shoot in sports and normal. This is largely down to the fact that certain moves can be recreated in post. However, for me, nothing beats the feeling or the look of actually diving a ridgeline or a waterfall, and it's a style of shooting that can't be done in the edit as authentically. So who is this drone actually for? Personally, I believe this serves as a great option for anyone who wants FPV style shots without having to learn to fly in full manual or risk their drones. It's definitely not the same exact type of visual, but the possibilities are endless, and as far as innovation goes, this drone is impressive. For me, it won't replace my Avata 2, but instead it will be another tool that allows me to get certain angles that are only possible with a 360 drone. I'm pretty sure anyone can take this out the bag and learn to fly it within minutes, which is a great thing about DJI products. It's now time for the tips and tricks segment, and the first point is how to get better quality shots. So typically the wider the field of view, the more quality is retained. The quality can reduce drastically the more you crop in, so you'll notice almost all of my shots had a wider field of view in order to maintain the full clarity. It's easy to go completely nuts when it comes to keyframing, but the flips and spins can sometimes be overdone and make it harder to watch. In my opinion, simplicity wins, and sometimes adding a subtle reveal can make a scene stand out while still putting your keyframes to full use. So this last tip is about reducing any additional shakes or stitch lines. Through repeated testing, I found that flying in a single line without changing directions or stopping and starting allows you to have the smoothest end shots. So planning your route before you take off is an absolute game changer. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the DJI Avata 360. Is this a drone you're going to use, or will you go for another option? If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe. As always, I've got a lot in the works and I can't wait to share the next one with you.